But just looking at Week 9 at home and Week 18, in L.A., the Rams games. Now, you mentioned this earlier, Dave. You feel like they come at a good time? Do you like where they're at on the schedule?
I don't think there's anything bad about it. When you play a team, it just, depends on what kind of I would say this. I'm glad that it's a little bit later. It's a little bit later in the season just because you look at what Sean McVay has done. And, I've kind of talked about this a little bit that, there was, and Moyer kind of referenced it, that Sean McVay kind of feels like he has the Seahawks number. And he's pretty much
kind of has.
Yeah. He's 10-5.
Yeah.
Against them. So, and then same thing with Kyle Shanahan. They're 0 for 5 the last 5 that they played, which includes a playoff game. But yeah, I think where it is, maybe it gives them a chance to, because I think Sean McVay's a really smart coach. And I think Mike McDonald's really smart too. So we're going to see these, all right, you young, smart guys, you smarty pants, let's see what happens here when you throw that defense at this offense. And it's, better chance of being sort of ironed out later in the season. So, yeah, it's, I'll tell you what, though, this was just rookie minicamp. But what I heard about the Friday practice versus what I saw on Saturday, it looked like a regular practice of a professional team out there practicing on Saturday. Whereas I guess on Friday, they couldn't complete any passes. Guys were jumping off sides, and you got it together quickly because this is a bunch of kids coming. There was 57 guys there, everybody coming from different places, nobody with any NFL experience, and it looked really organized. So, and we kind of talked about how it's going to be different down there. I don't think you're going to get the loud music, screaming and things like that. It's going to be more of a teaching environment. So, I think it might take a while to get there for them. But, yeah, I would say it's advantageous that that's later. But that is going to be – I just think it's going to be – if there's one game that I am really excited to see and see how it turns out, it's the Rams. It's the Ram game. And I know it's boring because they're in the division, and there's all kinds of other teams, but it's going to be a good sort of marker for him of where is he with his defense and can they counter what the Rams bring to the table offensively.
McVay's kind of become the standard by which other young coaches are measured.
Yeah,
we're all hoping. I think anybody who's got a young coach, whether it was Brandon Staley, now with Mike McDonald, any of these young guys, that they're going to be a version of that. Talking about that level of success. So you're kind of propping him up in an indirect way of looking at Mike McDonald going, well, all right, 2 young guys. Another McVay. We got our McVay over here. Let's see how he matches up with the OG McVay.
Right.
So it's interesting that he's kind of become a standard in terms of the young coaches by which you measure them.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. You bring up Brandon Staley. Not entirely sure what what went on when he got the head coaching job with the Chargers, but he went from a defense that was number 1 in pretty much every category with the Rams. And so I don't, and this might indicate was there maybe a disconnect because when he went to the Chargers, you would have thought he would have brought that with him. And it wasn't the case at all. They were bad defensively. So, maybe that's something that gets lost in, translation where he's the head coach now and not the defensive coordinator. But, hopefully that's not the case. And I'm not saying just because that happened, it's going to happen to him. But it'll be a good marker of where they are as far as that battle. When you play a team twice in a season, it's a big deal. I mean, it's quite the chess game. As far as how do you stop their offense and what are they going to do? I think those couple games, the two with the 49ers, I don't know what to expect from the Cardinals.
Well, you get them twice in 3 weeks, the Cardinals, which is an interesting quirk of the because you go right from at the 49ers, then you've got the Cardinals at home, then you go to the Jets, then you go back to the Cardinals after that.
I think we did that with the Niners last year, right?
Did they do 2 out of 3?
I thought so. I thought we went 49ers, and then we went to Dallas. And then there's an easy way to look that up. And
I wish I knew what that was, Dave.
But yeah, I mean, sometimes that happens, and yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing to see, what goes on, what do they change, things like that. Because typically you go back and look at the team's last 3 games. So
Yeah, you're right. Boy, you got that schedule memorized. They went on the road to the Rams November 19th, at home against the 49ers, on the road to Dallas, on the road to the 49ers.
yeah, so that was a tough stretch for them. Yeah, but yeah, it's I think those couple games are going to be really important. And as much as, yeah, Paul's right. I mean, you're going to Detroit. This is a really good team, man, and they've handled them. I mean, it's 3 years in a row that they've played them and beat them, and one was at home.
All 3 been a shootout. Feels like they both teams just score a boatload of points.
Well, oddly, I can't remember last year, but I can remember the 2 games before that. One was like 51-37 or something when they were here at
last year
at Lumen, and then last year it was like 48-45.
37-31 in overtime. Second game of the year at Detroit. Yeah. So 68 total points in that game.
Yeah. So and in all 3 of those Detroit games, they got a takeaway in the first series of the second half and scored a touchdown.
Yeah, 2022 was the one you just said, 48-45.
Yeah,
at Detroit. My goodness.
That was did Reek Woolen pick off a pass and score, I think, on that one? But yeah, so
now you're getting silly.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then the year before that, just to put a wrap on the Lions, 2021, it was the second to the last game of the season, and the Seahawks won 51-29.
Yeah.
So yeah, every one of these have been barn burners in the way of offense.
Right. Yeah. So that'll be an interesting one. That's gonna be a tough one. That's a Monday night game, right? Yeah. So, and you got the Giants. That'll be interesting to kind of see where they're at. But
is it going to be Drew Lock or Danny Dimes?
Yeah.
Who are they going to be facing?
I don't know, man. Do you root for Drew Lock? If you do, and if he goes out and
what if he came out and kicked their butt?
Yeah.
I kind of root for Danny Dimes to be out there because that'd be a little salt in the wound if Drew Lock is the starter and he just lights up this defense we're all hoping is going to be just massively improved under the tutelage and watchful eye of Mike McDonald.